Welcome back to our homestead. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley, and today I want to have a one-on-one conversation with you about a review and some recommendations that I found when I incubated for the first time for my chicken eggs. Here is the incubator. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here it is. You can find this at Tractor Supply. Now, this incubator does hold about, I think it holds 22. This incubator holds 22 chicken eggs. I figure it's a fair price for just an all-in-one, easy-to-use incubator, especially for your first time and my first time. Let's go over the reviews and recommendations I have for this incubator if it's your first time incubating chicken eggs. Let's talk about my review and recommendations if you're considering buying this incubator to hatch your own chicken eggs, quail eggs, turkey eggs, what have you. If you plan on using it, here's what I found when I did mine. So I realized that with the incubator, when I decided to incubate chicken eggs, it was in the cooler months. It was actually in February, and we were using our wood stove to burn, obviously, wood for heat. And that played a role on my incubator. I actually had to fill up the water about twice a day just to keep the humidity up where it needed to be. Keep that in mind in case as soon as you get up, fill up the water, and then before you go to sleep, fill up the water. I found that was the best remedy to keep the humidity where it needed to be per the instructions that come in the box. And other than that, once we quit burning our wood, I only had to fill it up once a day. So not a big deal. I did do the wet hatch, which was obviously recommended. I wanted to follow it by the rules, the instructions, not really rules, but the instructions that come with the box, with the incubator. Just to have a better idea to give a review, an honest review of what they're saying. Will you get a good hatch? Yada, yada, yada. So one time a day, not a big deal. I do plan on doing a dry hatch with this incubator, and I'll be sure to post the video on that when I do. And if you haven't checked out our hatching videos with this incubator, I'll link it in the description below. Now, as far as the hatch rate goes with this incubator, I had a great hatch rate, I felt like. I put in 22 chicken eggs, and when I candled at day 10, I found one was not fertile, which is probably because one of my chickens, she likes to get out and do her own thing. She's Miss Independent, so I don't think the rooster was able to do his job. So it was not fertile, so I did remove that. So I had 21 chicken eggs that I had that were fertile and possibly grow chickens. Now, what I did was I collected eggs for a while, about a week, and then the day I went to incubate, I got some of my favorite chickens. They laid their eggs, and one with a particularly heavy bloom, and I wanted to incubate that. So I took some of those eggs and I put them in the day I set my incubator to incubate the eggs. Now, I think that might have played a role, may have, may not have, but those eggs did not hatch. And I got 17 eggs that hatched out of 21. Is great in my book. Yeah, would I love 21 eggs to hatch? Of course. But I still think that was a lesson learned on my part to make sure that they are not just laid chicken eggs to just go ahead and put in the incubator. Maybe just let them sit for a day or two. That's something else I need to look at and take into consideration if that played a role in my hatch rate. But something for you to think about before you hatch yours. The downfall of this incubator that I found was that the window is too small, or not the window, the covering is too small. And when I had the 16 chickens hatch, it was like they were just popping like popcorn, basically. They were just cracking and hatching left and right. And they looked like they ran out of room. And so that bothered me because, one, I had extra eggs there still trying to hatch. Do you risk opening it and losing your humidity, losing your temperature to get the other chicks out? They had no room And I can post a picture here of one that you can kind of see is one of my favorite pictures. They're just like, let me out. They look mad, but it's the cutest. So here's that picture that I took. So what I did was, they take, well, 2 people. One, you can do it yourself if you want to. But the lid, another thing, is that it all comes off of one piece. So it's not attached to one side to help you like lift like this, like you would like a lid that's on a chest or a door or something like that. It's not hinged at all. So when you do, if you find that you run out of room, what I did was I just lifted just a little bit, grabbed the chick, put it in a little box, and took it directly to the brooder. My incubator was in my kitchen, my brooder was in my laundry room. So it was just a short, just little quick move over to get them into their brooder where they warm, didn't have a lot of stress in the transaction, didn't lose a lot of humidity, didn't lose temperature as far as doing it that way. So that's something else to take into consideration, is how many chicken eggs that you actually put into your incubator. Next go around, I don't think I'll be putting in 22 chicken eggs. I might do every other slot and do 11 eggs and see how that goes. I feel like that would give more room. And another thing was, if you watch my other video, you'll see that I put one of those shelf liners down in my incubator. I should have done that before I laid the eggs. Actually, no, I shouldn't have done that because then it wouldn't really roll very well. Okay, so if you've seen my other video, I posted that I put in a shelf liner in my incubator, and I did that just because the holes down in the incubator that the eggs sit on to allow the humidity to rise are rather large. And I had another person that hatches chickens recommend to me to put the shelf liner in just because of those holes are rather large and chicks can injure themselves, their toes, nails, etc. You get the idea. So I did do that. Another option to take into consideration when purchasing this incubator. I got the shelf liner for less than $1 at the dollar store. It was on clearance. So I did get that and just put it down. No toe issues, no leg issues with that. And you only put that down once you're in lockdown, once you take the egg turner out. Turning the eggs, I had no problem. Turned them wonderfully. No need to... there was no disruption in the egg turning. They all turned when they needed to. I realized that it was not set to an exact time, but it kind of varied, but definitely every hour at some point it did turn. And it automatically shuts off when it needs to at day 18 for your lockdown, so it will not automatically turn. But I went ahead and unplugged mine just in case. You remove the turners at day 18 just for lockdown so the chick can get the egg in position to hatch. I use distilled water in the incubator. So if you're looking at regular water versus distilled water, I use distilled water in the incubator when I hatched my eggs. And another thing is that I did not use any extra humidity or temp reading system to put in there with my chicken eggs. Like I said, I just want to do it directly from the box, read the instructions, and do it as it says, just for someone who just needs something to easy, self-explanatory, not a problem, pretty easy to manage. So that's what I did. But if you want to, especially with it being new, I didn't feel like I needed to do that. But if you want to get an extra humidity temperature reader to put inside the incubator, just to verify that the temp and the humidity are reading correctly, you could do that too. That may have played a role on my other eggs, but I'm not sure on that either. So next hatch I might try that to see if it is reading correctly and everything's still in working order properly. So to answer the question, do I recommend this incubator? Without a doubt. I thought it was easy to use, self-explanatory, great for a beginner like myself to be able to hatch my own chicken eggs. Would I look at purchasing another? Absolutely. Okay, so if you found this video helpful and are considering purchasing your own Nurturite 360 to incubate your own chicken eggs, be sure to give us a thumbs up. and please consider subscribing to the channel. We are a DIY homesteading channel, and we like to post in any sort of help that we can give to other homesteaders. Thanks guys, y'all have a blessed day.